The first thing I noticed was the silence. My phone had been charging on the nightstand, the soft glow of the screen blinking like a heartbeat I couldn't feel anymore. I picked it up, ready to play the recording I kept on loop. The only voice left of her, my little girl, gone too soon. But it wasn't there. I stared at the empty file like my hands had betrayed me. My stomach sank, the air in the room suddenly too heavy to breathe. I remembered recording her giggle the week before she died. How it had sounded like sunlight bouncing through a window. I had listened to it every night, and now it was gone. I turned toward her, sitting across the living room with her laptop open, pretending to type something urgent. Her perfume was different, sharper, unfamiliar, and it stung my memory. "Did you see something?" I asked, my voice cracking despite my attempt at calm. She looked up, startled. "See what?" Her smile didn't reach her eyes. That should have been my first warning. I tried to shake off the sudden panic. Maybe I misplaced it. Maybe the phone glitched. But deep down I knew. She'd erased it. My hands trembled as I searched for any trace. Recent files, deleted folders, cloud backups, but it was gone. The last piece of my daughter gone. Over the next few days, the cracks started to show everywhere. She'd worked late at the office 3 nights in a row. Her phone was always face down on the counter, buzzing with messages she didn't want me to see. When I asked simple questions about her day, she'd reply vaguely, with a hint of irritation like I was intruding. One night I came home early, hoping to surprise her with dinner. She wasn't there. Her laptop was open, logged into a messaging app one didn't recognize. I froze, staring at her name at the top of a conversation. "Can't wait to see you tonight." The words made my chest tighten in a way I hadn't felt since the accident. I wanted to believe it was innocent, that I was overreacting. But then came the little things. A whispered laugh over the phone that ended abruptly when I walked in. A sudden flurry of deleted texts. The smell of that perfume again. Love was turning into suspicion, and my stomach knotted every time I saw her. I remember the night I confronted her. We were in the kitchen, the lights dim, the hum of the refrigerator loud in the silence. "Why did you erase it?" My voice barely held together. "Why would you delete the last thing I have of her?" She froze, eyes wide, guilt written across every line of her face. I didn't want you to relive it all the time," she said, her voice trembling. "I thought, maybe it would help if it was gone." I wanted to scream. I wanted to shake her until she understood. But I didn't. I just stood there, hearing the echo of her excuses, feeling the weight of her betrayal settle on my chest. The girl's giggle, once a lifeline, now just an empty echo in my memory. Days passed in a blur of grief and anger. I replayed our life together in my head, every tender moment now laced with doubt. Had she loved me the way I thought? Or had I been living in a carefully constructed illusion? I saw her kindness, her warmth, but it felt distant, like a memory I couldn't trust. I kept thinking about the little things my daughter used to do. How she'd hide under the table when she was shy. How she'd throw her arms around me unprovoked. How her tiny hands would reach for my phone when she wanted me to listen to her laugh. Those memories now cut deeper than the loss itself. I reached out to a friend, someone I trusted, someone who knew the depth of my grief. "She erased it," I said, voice shaking. "The last recording of her, my little girl. She just deleted it." My friend was quiet for a moment. "Have you talked to her?" they asked. I had. I'd tried, but every conversation seemed to twist the knife further. Her explanation felt like a thin veil over something darker, and I couldn't tell if it was fear, guilt, or something else entirely. I wanted to leave, but the idea of walking away from her was like abandoning a part of myself I didn't recognize anymore. Then one evening, I noticed her sitting alone, eyes wet, staring at her own hands. The air between us was thick with words unsaid. I asked again, softer this time, "Why?" She looked up, her face raw. "I was scared," she whispered. "I didn't know how to help you. Every time you played that recording, I saw how much pain it caused you. I thought if I erased it, maybe you'd start to heal. I know it was wrong." Her words didn't fix the fracture, but they gave me a glimpse into her side of the story. She hadn't wanted to hurt me, but she had. The betrayal wasn't black and white. It was human, tangled in love and fear and desperation. I sat down across from her, the silence between us thick with grief and regret. I realized then that trust wasn't something you could demand, it had to be rebuilt carefully, piece by piece. I could hate her, leave her, or try to find a way to understand. And part of me wanted to understand even if it meant facing more pain. I remember the quiet that settled over the house that night. We didn't speak much, but the tension had shifted from accusation to something else. Something fragile, like the first light of dawn breaking through a storm. I could feel the weight of my loss but also the weight of her remorse. It was a strange, painful balance. In the following weeks, we tried to navigate the wreckage. There were tears and arguments and moments where I wanted to run away, but also moments where I remembered why I had loved her in the first place. She wasn't perfect, and neither was I, and the memory of my daughter would always be a wound we both carried differently. I never got that recording back. No amount of pleading or searching could bring her giggle back to my phone. But I learned something about love, grief, and human frailty. Sometimes the people who hurt you the most also carry the deepest regret, an understanding that doesn't erase the pain. It just makes it human. The last night I heard her voice, I held the phone to my chest, feeling the emptiness where her laughter used to live. Now, instead of listening, I remember. I remember her bright eyes, her tiny hands, and her voice echoing through the rooms of my heart. And though it hurts, I know that holding on to that memory, imperfect and fleeting, is the only thing left that truly belongs to me. And in that fragile, aching way I forgive, not fully, not easily, but enough to breathe again. Enough to let the quiet room hold the memory, the sorrow, and the fragile hope that love, even broken, can still exist.